Hi everyone and welcome to a deck building video. Today we're doing a Dutch German Corps tank tactical deck. Now I've never built a tank deck before, so this is a new experience for me, and if anyone has any suggestions at the end, please do leave them in the comments. I know everyone will build their deck slightly differently and I'll explain my choices as I go through, but as I say, I've never built a tank deck, so I might make some very weird choices. But let's have a go. So the first thing is, what have we got in terms of command? I still like my infantry command, but if this is a tank deck, maybe I should actually be thinking about taking the Leopard 2 command tank. It's not got the best armor though. It's not like taking something really heavy, which is a bit of a shame. I can't remember, what's the T80 UK got? Something higher than this, I'm sure. But yeah, let's plod on. So, do I put that? It's really expensive, isn't it? 170 points for 15 front armor. I don't think I want to take a tank. I don't think there's a good enough tank here. Let's take infantry. It's a tactical deck anyway. In fact, do we have any infantry? Vehicle, vehicle, vehicle. Oh wow, I can't take an infantry for once. Well, isn't this a difference? Okay. Well, that changes things completely. I can't take... Then I guess I take a little vehicle for the fact that I'll get 7 of them. And that one is slightly better, the Iltis. So we take that. I mean, I'm tempted by that, but I'm not convinced that I won't lose it. It doesn't have a lot of front armor. Top armor is only 3. Seems it's very expensive. No, I'll stick with the little Jeep. Fine. And then after that, it's really easy. We grab a fob because it doesn't really matter, and then with it being I mean, the Mankat's only 30. It's not like it's a 40.1. But I'll take one of each. It's just a personal preference that I have the availability to bring in something at 20 when I'm really struggling for points. But equally 30 is not bad. You could just sit and wait, I guess. On to infantry. So, obviously significantly reduced options in terms of transport here, but we do get access to the Marders, which is great. We get access to the M113s. Now, I like my little dudes with their stingers, so I'm still going to take those. I'm going to take trained, because 70% is enough, and trained, hang on, delete those. Trained do get a slight bonus to that, plus 8%, so that's fine. And then we've got these guys at the top. Nothing too exciting. I mean, they're only a strength of 5, which is the main issue with them. With a strength of 10, I'd probably be more inclined to say, hey, you know what? Up close and personal with the MP2A1. Basically a little Uzi type thing, and a Carl Gustav, that's actually pretty good, but it's the fact that they're only strength 5, which I'm just not convinced. We still get Heimatsuchen, we get the Jaegers, which are pretty good, they're only 15. These guys, militia, just don't even bother. We get the Milan 2 still, which isn't great. But it's also the only option in terms of long-range anti-tank that you get there. So we stick 7 hardened in just because it's nice to have that as an option. I mean, you know, I'm thinking about this deck for maybe like probably Mudfight, going to Foxtrot and being the tank player there, you know. And then you kind of want some Milans or something with range there to help. Panzer Grenadiers, they do get their Marder 2, so we're probably going to take some of those. We'll probably take the slightly better ones there. We'll just take 9 veterans of those. It's mostly for the Marder 2, let's be honest. The Marder 103 is pretty good. It's got the Milan 2 as well, and a little cannon. Stinger we're skipping over. Stottertruppen 95s and the standard Stottertruppen are all pretty good. The upgraded ones only cost the same price. One thing I'd say is the Carl Gustav has a 60% accuracy, whereas this only has 50%, but the AP power is slightly higher. They're both good units. In terms of what you can bring them in, that one's got a 25mm autocannon, that one's got a Browning, that one's got a Browning. I mean, for me, I'd bring them in with the 15-point thing and just accept that it's going to cost you a bit more. Veteran again, because you've got more than enough there. Other than that, I mean, you could go for these guys. They're quite annoying, but they're not anything special. They certainly do bother infantry with their longer range and the fact that they can hit infantry. But I'm going to leave it and come back. I will end up taking some more infantry, but that costs 3, and I'd like to see what else I can put in the deck first. So on to support. We're going to go straight for our usual Eyehawk, since it's 75 points and it's not radar. So we're going to take that straight away. I'm going to take 3 hardened. Other than that, I mean, it's up to you. I took the Roland last time because of its range against helicopters. There's also obviously the Flak Panzer, which, you know, it's radar as well. The difference here is the Roland has better range against planes than the Flak Panzer Jeopard, but the Jeopard has the Stingers as well. So could take the Jeopard just to be different, but you know, they're both on tank chassis, to be fair, for an armored deck. Over here you could take the other Eyehawks, but again the issue is the range against helicopters. You do have this one, the 70-point Eyehawk, which has a really good range, but it's obviously radar and it's only got 3 missiles. Accuracy 55, the Roland has a 65 accuracy. Damage wise, it's much higher HE power, it's 9 compared to the Roland 6. The Flak is obviously good, you know, it's not a bad unit at all. I could take the Jeopard just for a change. I mean, I'm looking for basically long range against choppers at this point. And you could easily also take the 55-point Jeopard. There's nothing wrong with that either. Don't take the cheater though. We discussed that before. They're slightly better accuracy for the price, but it can't fire on the move. It doesn't have a stabilizer. So I guess the Jeopard. And I guess we go for the A2 and accept the extra 10 points for the Stinger missile. It's just a little bit extra, isn't it? And we'll go for hardened again. And then we want mortars. Goes without saying, we're getting these guys. I'm not really bothered about hardened for the mortars, so we'll just take trained. It's going to be more about smoking tanks and things, and if they do get destroyed by counter battery or something, you'll want some to replace them. Then in terms of artillery, I mean, it's completely up to you here what you take. I'm probably going to take something reasonably fast firing. I think the M110A2s are pretty good, but they're slow. Obviously the M110 equally slow. So you got the M109A3GA1. If we pin that, and we'll compare it to the M109A5NL. The NL fires slightly faster, so it's probably going to be that one we go with. Better accuracy, it's got better range. It costs more, but if we compare the A3 to the A3 there, very similar, but the German one's better, but obviously costs more. But I think we'll go with the 2 109A5s. But again, it's a personal choice. It depends what you're planning to do with them. I mean, you get 3 of those for 100. What's in the back of my mind is how many you can bring in. You can only bring 2 of those. And it's a tactical game. How many am I really going to bring in? Probably not more than 2, so we'll go with that. It makes sense somewhere in my head. Let's move on to tanks. So, we have a smorgasbord of tanks here. Let's get our big boys first. So, we've got the Leopard 2A5. Do you want to be, you know, you could probably take elites here and just go whole hog, or you could go veteran. You know what I'll do? I'll take veteran German Leopards, and I'll take an elite Netherlands. Or Dutch Leopard. No particular reason for that. But that means that if you do lose one, you've got spares. And inevitably, you probably lose one. Right, next job. Let's have a look at the 2A4s. So, I think you can all see the difference here. We've discussed it in the previous deck build video. The 2A4 NL has much higher AP power. Okay, it's 2 points higher, but it makes all the difference. So if you're going to take one, take 4 veterans of those. I mean, you could even take 3 elites, to be fair. And you get 2 cards of them. But you don't want to take exceptionally expensive stuff. But look at all the tanks we can take. We've got all this space for tanks. And they only cost 1 point at that end of it. So we're going to take loads of tanks anyway. So let's take some more elites. So we've got loads of leopards to choose from. We need to take some cheaper stuff. You can drop down to sort of the leopard 2s and leopard 2A1s. Difference between these, they're identical other than the machine gun's a bit better on the German one. Yeah, loads of cheap things up here. The Keeler's very good because it's got the autocannon and the main cannon that can fire simultaneously. Leopard 1s here as well. That's got pretty good AP power. Let's just compare the 1A5 to the 1V. So, 1A5 is better. Is it 5 points better? Probably because it's got 10 front armor. So we can stick the Leopard 1A5 in there for 65 points. I'll just take 9 elite of those. Let's take our Keelers. I haven't even put them in there yet. We'll take 8 elite of those. We got the M48s there, which are really good in WARNO. I don't think they'd be very good here. Stats in Windows tend to be more true to what happens on the battlefield to some extent in Wargame than WARNO. So I'm not convinced that that's going to be great. We probably need some more cheap tanks. We take the cheap Leopard 2s. I mean, they've got 16 armor. They've got 15 front armor. Slight difference in AP output. Is it worth 20 points? Probably not. We don't really have a tank at that price level. You know what we need? We need something like this 120. We've got the 2A4. But then that 2A4 was loads better. Do we go for something dirt cheap just to be annoying? The Centurion's good. But the Centurion runs out of fuel really quickly and is very, very, very low speed. ANX. Nah. Shorter range. Same as the Centurion. A little bit faster. I'd be tempted to grab that for 55 points as well. Tanks are a funny one in a tactical game because you kind of want expensive tanks and cheaper tanks. But you don't want something so cheap that it's going to die really easily. I've got all of these things. Do I get something like the 100 point mark? 2A1s. Why not? We'll get some elite 2A1s and then I don't know. Very cheap end, 6 front armor. Has 8 front armor for 40 points. I think we'll go with that. 40 points for the cheap front armor. And we got loads of elite stuff there. That's a proper tank deck. Look at all the tanks. Probably overkill. Especially for a tactical game, but never mind. The Leopard, obviously, we want that. We want 4 hardened. I mean, it's a proper tank deck. Do you take 2 sets of those? It is tempting. It is tempting. Do I still get... I don't get access to the Tiger. That's a shame. Let's see. What else do we get access to? A Leopard 1A1 down there. It's not the 1A1, A1 like we have in WARNO with all of its A1s. But it's only got good optics. I mean, it's all about this guy up here with his very good optics and medium stealth. Probably want to take some infantry. These guys are only militia, so I wouldn't bother with those. I think it's probably these ones more than anything else. I mean, either way, they're coming in a 5-point vehicle. This is faster, so we'll take those guys. Take 7 hardened. And then we're really limited in terms of what we have access to here. We have the little chopper. 2 little choppers. Both only have very good optics. Better than nothing. I'd be tempted to take a chopper. I don't usually, but options are somewhat limited. So these two are basically identical. We'll take that one. Just to say we're taking something else out of the Dutch deck, the Netherlands deck. And then I'd be tempted to stick some more of those in since we get 2 stacks. Again, I might never buy them, but if I can keep them alive, then they're very good tanks. Probably second best Recon tank in the game. And then let's have a look at Vehicles tab. I mean, there's nothing that jumps out here. I think I've said before that the Cannon Jagdpanzer is okay. The Marder used to be really good and then they nerfed it. The Cannon Jagdpanzer is quite good at just being annoying in tree lines and things. You got the Flak Panzer there for 15. That's a good choice for base defense and things. You got the toes, obviously, the Weasel toes. They're not bad. Fun little vehicle with a tow 2. 50 points, so, you know, they're not cheap. But tow 2 is very good, obviously. Gives you that range missile that you won't get from choppers in this deck. Other than that, that's got a tow on it, but not a tow 2. I don't think we have anything with a tow 2 on other than... Oh, that's got tow 2s. There we go. 60 points, though. Slightly better armor. But it's bigger. Its stealth is poor. Stealth down there. That's poor as well. Optics are poor. Optics. That's a shame, because you think that the Weasel is a lot smaller, so it would have slightly better stealth. That's a shame. You're better off going with a little Jeep then, but you don't have it here. I'm going to add the Flak Panzer as trained, just because it's a good little unit for base defense. And then helicopters, I'm just going to take the Escort. I would like to take something. I'm going to take the Escort because it's pretty good in terms of it's got an autocannon and it's got all of those missiles. And then we're on to aircraft, and this is going to be very similar to what we did before. It's completely up to you what you take here. There's a lot of choice in the grand scheme of things. You've got the F-16 Block 1, and you've got the F-16 MLU. The Block 1 isn't really worth it because it's only got the AIM-9 infrareds, and they're short range, and it's expensive for something that's going to be used to take out choppers, really. You've got a much cheaper option here, for example, which has the Vulcan Cannon and the AIM-9 in the F-104G. You got the Alpha Jet up there and their palm bombs. I'd skip that, I'd skip that, I'd skip that. I'd stick the F-16A MLU in. It's very good. Obviously, alongside that, you know, you've got that, which has 4 missiles, and you've got the F4F KWS, which has 3 missiles. Same missiles, the ARAMs. Again, very good unit, but the difference here, if we pin the F4F and look at the F-16A MLU, speed, turn radius, all better on the MLU, an extra missile, less AIM-9s, but you're not going to be prioritising the AIM-9s, you're prioritising the ARAMs for this jet, really. But obviously, very good unit. The F4F, again, it's just a cheap anti-chopper plane. You got the Peace Rhine, which has its Maverick. Now, if we pin that, is there another anti-tank one we get here? Yes, there is. It's that one. The F-16A. I think I came to the conclusion last time that you're better off going for the F-16A because it's got the ARAMs and it's got Mavericks. Even if it costs a bit more. So I would stick that in. Just take one Elite. Because an Elite one of those, for its boost to the accuracy on everything, is pretty good. And it can double up as an extra fighter. Because it's still got really good speed and ACM. ECM even. And air detection. And then, well, you've got a good choice of tanks So, do you really need clusters is a big question. I think you need a bomber. So you're going to need the Tornado IDS. I'd take 2 trained, because you're relying on it for dropping bombs, and you're going to probably need more than one because you need to be able to kill infantry. The Tornado Seedplane is your only option, so you might as well take that. Clusters, you're a tank deck, so do you need clusters? I'd kind of hope not. I'd kind of hope you can deal with most armor. And you've already got the Block 15 OCU. So other than that, you've got another bomber there, the F-16A, which is slightly more than the Tornado IDS. The Tornado IDS is a better bomber with the same bombs, and it's actually cheaper. That's weird, the bombs are the same. Turn radius isn't as good on the IDS, but it's got exceptional air detection and better ECM. Speed's the same. I think I'm happy with the IDS there. The question would be, do you take a cluster bomber, just in case? Or do you take a napalm bomber? I mean, this is slowish, the NF5B. But it's got a lot of napalm bombs, 5 napalm bombs, and the Alpha Jet is a lot cheaper and only has 2. You know what, I'd be tempted, but it's 5 points. Where else can I spend 5 points? Even potentially more helicopters. And something somewhere else. I could take more infantry. And infantry wise, what I'm missing is I've got shock. 2 types of shock. I don't have any elite troops here. I don't think I get access to any. I think that's the penalty for going armored. But I don't have any regular troops, I've just got lots of shock, so maybe I need something cheaper. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some cheaper infantry, because there will come a time when I need them. Do you take Grenadiers, or a 10-man regular squad? Let's pin them. Or do you take the Jaegers, which are slightly more expensive? Are they worth the extra? Similar machine guns, basically very similar stats. The big difference is the anti-tank. The Jaeger obviously have a better anti-tank. I'm tempted, I think, to potentially just go with the Grenadiers because they're cheaper. And in terms of Panzer Grenadiers are all shock and they're all more expensive. And yeah, let's do that then. Let's go with the Grenadiers. The Grenadiers, we can have the AMX, or we can have... See, that's pushing the price up. I feel like that's got 2 front armor. That's got 3 front armor. I'll take the AMX then, because they've both got the same gun, don't they? Yeah. So let's do that. Let's take these guys and let's take 18 hardened. Let's load. So that means we've got 15-point infantry. We've got super cheap infantry that we can spam him if necessary in an, you know, a cheap slash boring vehicle, but at least it's going to be supported by your tanks with a tank deck. And that means we have 2 points left, and our choices there are to spend them on a vehicle or a helicopter. And helicopter wise, choices are limited. And I mean, we're a tank deck, so do we need a hot? No, we don't. If there was anything here I'd take, it would be anti-air, but we don't have an option. So let's take another vehicle. Let's take something with a tow launcher, because we're being aggressive on the ground. 60 points for that, 2 front armor. What annoys me about that is the stealth isn't any better. and it's slightly faster, but it's got less armor, so I'm actually going to take that. I'm going to take 4 hardened for the extra accuracy for the few times that I will call them in. But that's really the only place to spend it. I don't think bringing in another jet for this deck is worth it. So let's go with that. Okay, so let's quickly recap. So we've got the Iltis, a Fob, a Jupiter, and a Mancati. We've got the Fleer Force 2, because I like to have man pads. You've got the Milan 2. It's not great, but it's your only option here. You've got the Panzer Grenadiers 90 in the Marder 2, because you want the Marder 2 and the Panzer Grenadiers are good. Stottertruppen in the YPR for its little autocannon, and then the Grenadiers for a cheap infantry option. Support, we've gone for the Ihawk Heos. We've gone for the Flak Panzer Jeopardy 2 just for a change. We've gone for the HS-30 mortars, a load of them, because we're going to be smoking a lot with tanks. And we've gone for the M109A5NL. Then with tanks, we've gone for a Leopard 2A5 at Veteran for the Germans. We've gone for the Netherlands Leopard 2A5 as Elite, and then we've gone for 2A4s from Netherlands as Elite, because they're slightly better than the German ones in terms of their AP power. And we've got a Leopard 1A5 as Elite, Keeler as Elite, we've got Leopard 2 as Elite, we've got Leopard 2A1s as Elite, and some Leopard 1A4s as Elite. So basically we've got loads of tanks across the board. This is going to be a heavy tank pushing deck, which I've never done before, so I'm going to die loads, I'm sure, and lose loads of tanks, but it'll be fun to try it for a change. Then in terms of recon, we've got the Leopard Verkinning twice, because it's really good, and the options are really limited in this tank deck. We've got the Huzaren for a little cheaper option, and we've also got the Recon Chopper. And then, of course, we've got the vehicles, which we don't always take stuff, but I'm taking the Flak Panzer just as a little bit of base defense because our anti-air is quite expensive. And I'm also taking the YPR 765 Pratt because it's got decent armor for this unit, and it's got a TOW 2 launcher. And realistically, you're kind of limited in where you could spend those last 2 points, so we're doing that. Helicopters, I've taken the Escort because it's the best one there, and nothing else is really doing it for me. We've already got loads of tanks, so I don't really want to take anti-tank. And then in terms of air units, we've just gone for the F-16 MLU, the F-16 Block 15 OCU, which is a slightly more expensive Maverick launcher, but it also has ARAMs, so you're using it as a backup fighter. You've also got the Tornado IDS and the Tornado ECR for its seed, because it's the only seed you get. And that's it. So yeah, if anyone has suggestions for this deck, I've genuinely never built a pure tank deck before. As I say, this is for tactical, so I've gone for more elite units and higher veteran units than I would in a normal deck, perhaps. But, you know, this is pretty new to me, so let me know what you think. Let me know if you would take different things, especially in terms of the recon, the vehicles, and the helos, because I wasn't really 100% sure there what I was doing in terms of what to take. I'm reasonably happy with the tank selection. There's a lot of tanks to choose from in this deck, and the support and stuff I'm okay with. I'm a little bit unsure on my artillery, but we'll see. And infantry, limited choices, but I'm happy enough with that. But thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon for some more Wargame and WARNO.